Hello guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Skills and Abilities. Today we're going to be looking at a new-ish skill. I wanted to start out with something interesting on the Barbarian. I thought it would be fun to start out with Grim Ward. So Grim Ward is an ability which has been relatively ignored for quite some time. Specifically because it doesn't really do the most amazing thing. I mean, it makes monsters run away, right? And who wants monsters to run away? We want the monsters to stick around and die. We don't want them to run. We want them to stick around and die. No, Mr. Bond. I want you to die, as they say. So, what does Grim Ward do now that might make it something that you may want to consider in the future? What does it? Did it not do before, which made it relatively unused? Well, the answer to that question lies in the changes in the 2.4 patch. And assuming, of course, the 2.4 patch stays, I need to take off the freezes target effect. I forgot. And assuming, of course, the freezes target effect stays, or the patch changes, the Grim Ward is going to have a very, very interesting ability. And I'd like to go over that ability together with you guys today. And to do that, I'm going to need a couple corpses. This is the important thing with Grim Ward, is to utilize the ability. You're definitely going to need some corpses on the ground to do so. And I got to make some corpses. Making corpses is difficult, guys. It'd probably help if I had attack rating. Did we kill something? Did we finally kill something? Might actually help if I put some points in a Grim Ward, right? So, Grim Ward is an interesting ability because it has some very interesting effects. And, there we go. So as you can see here, once I create a Grim Ward, all the monsters within range are forced to run away from the Grim Ward itself. And even when the effect wears off and they run back, they are forced to run away again. Grim Ward can actually be used very effectively to kill bosses because the monsters cannot be in the vicinity of the Grim Ward. But the bosses can. So for instance, Shank is not going to run away, but all of his little minions will run away. So I put a nice Grim Ward right next to Shank, and he will of course have no bodyguard protection, which is of course what he is known for. Now, Grim Ward has some other amazing effects, and we're going to go over them right now. So let's take a look at Grim Ward's ability. And you will notice that they've added something. We have here a synergy, which was never there before. And the synergy is from Find Potion. So right now we have a use on a creature of the undead to a slain monster to resurrect this frightening totem that will cause nearby monsters to flee, right? Well, it also has this amazing effect of enemy damage taken plus 25%, which is very similar to Amplify Damage. We have a duration of 40 seconds on this and a mana cost of 4, and this is a relatively low-level version of the skill. It's only level 1 with a couple skill points, which brings it up to level 7. We've got a radius of 8 yards and slows enemies by 44%. So slows enemies and enemy damage taken have both been added to Grim Ward, which makes it very, very interesting skill. And as you level up Grim Ward, you will notice that the radius goes up, and so does the slow percentage. But the enemy damage taken does not. To raise the enemy damage taken, you have to actually put points into Find Potion. And when maxed out, Find Potion actually gives you a massive 120% increase in damage to all monsters nearby, along with a 66% slow and a radius of 20.6 yards. Let's take a look at this new version, shall we? I feel like I have those set to players 8. I mean, I feel like it is. I know it's not. I don't think it is. Is it? Is it set to players 8? I'm gonna laugh if it is. It is set to player saves. I'm trying to do a demonstration here. Of course, it's too late. The monsters are already in player's aid, so it doesn't matter. This character's not set up for player's aid combat. That's okay. I'm padding out the length of the video. And as you can see here now with the new Grimoire up, the duration is still 40 seconds, but it makes them run away much, much further, a total of 20.6 yards, which is very, very far. The monsters are extremely slow, and they're taking a massive amount of more damage than they were previously. And this is, of course, very nice for me, because as a physical damage character, that extra damage is going to come in super handy for making sure the monsters die quicker. That 120% damage does seem to work very similarly to the way that Amplify damage works. I can't be 100% certain on that, but it does seem like the bonus damage is actually functioning as negative physical damage, and because it's higher than 100%, it's probably bringing them way into the negative range, because most monsters, of course, do not have higher than 100% physical damage reduction, and unless they are specifically physical immune, they don't even have 100%. They're usually around 50, so we're looking at negative 100 to a physical damage reduction, which is usually around 50%, and that means that most of the monsters are going to be either negative 70, most likely, negative 70%, which means they're going to be taking 70% more damage than they would otherwise. You can also combine this, believe it or not, with some rather funky items. So for instance, if I wanted to use Corpse Explosion, which can be used on a Barbarian with the very amazing Corpse-Morn Ornate Plate, which I just recently did a video on. I don't know if I still have it in here. I do still have it in here. You can put on a Corpse-Morn, and you could go and utilize Corpse-Morn with this effect. Let's play around with the idea, shall we? Now, because Corpse Explosion is 50% physical damage, you can, of course, utilize Corpse Explosion in this way. And basically what it means is that any monster nearby is going to take a much higher amount of damage from Corpse Explosion than they otherwise normally would. Now, of course, in some situations, when you're dealing with these extremely fast monsters, the extra fast ones, it doesn't really work as well. Let's go down here with the ones that are not extra fast, that can actually be slowed down. And we've got some corpses right here. Oh, fine. Explode yourself then. I don't care. It's not like I wanted to explode you or anything. Not like I wanted to do the explosions. Why has everybody got to be mana burn and everything else? Look, Mr. Extra Fast Eldritch the Rectifier. Yeah. 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 Yeah, die. Thank you. Bombs ahead. Trying to show off Grimoire. So what could potentially Grimoire be used for? I guess that's the question, right? It is an interesting ability that comes with some very interesting challenges. You, of course, need corpses to be able to utilize the effect, which means something has to die before you can get the nice effect. Since it doesn't make bosses run away, it's not going to work on Ubers. It's not going to work on Lilith or Uber Iswal or anything like that. But the increased enemy damage, I'm assuming, probably will, which means that you could utilize that extra physical damage on those particular targets. It could definitely be used very well to make some nice little areas for your mage casters, your squishies to stand if you wanted to play around with it like that. And the enemies slow by 66% actually makes it very interesting because as the monsters are trying to run away, they're running away very slowly, which makes them very easy to kill. And quite honestly, I really kind of like it. It is a 40-point investment, though, to get it to the 120% increased damage. But you will have the very nice Find Potion as a consolation prize. And if you've never used Find Potion before, let let's have some fun real quick with that as well. This video is not about Find Potion, but it is actually about the new ability. And I'd like to at least show you what you're gaining by going with Grimoire. You're also going to obviously get a very nice Find Potion. And when you use Find Potion on monsters, you will get full juvies, you will get regular potions, you'll get mana potions. You basically won't ever have to buy potions again, which is certainly interesting. I got scared there for a second. I had flashbacks to the time when I used to get Iron Maidened in frickin' Chaos Sanctuary, and I was frickin' always getting Iron Maiden in Chaos Sanctuary back in the day. They don't do it anymore, but they used to do it a lot. And one of the things you'll get a lot of is full rejuvenation potions. They actually pop out a lot at high levels of Find Potion. So you'll have pretty much an infinite supply of full juvies. It's actually pretty cool, just the sheer number of potions you get. I don't necessarily recommend building Find Potion, you know, like as a general rule. Find Item is actually much better, but of course having full juvies popping out of all the corpses that you're hitting is certainly not a bad thing. I've actually noticed, I've done this on a couple characters. You just walk out and kill a bunch of stuff and just pop a Find Potion on everything, and you'll have a full belt full of full juvies in like less than like 30 seconds. Depends on the number of monsters, of course, but you can go somewhere like the cow level or something like that. I do know that Find Item also gives full juvies though too. And like I said, the only reason I'm talking about this is, of course, because the Grimoire skill uses it as a synergy. And if you're planning to get some use out of Grimoire, it's kind of nice to know that Find Potion does actually offer you some ability to have some cool things happen. You know, it's not a complete and utter waste of points like maybe some other abilities are, but it does give you, you know, a very nice bonus damage on Grimoire, and also can theoretically fill up your belt with full rejuvenation potions, which certainly isn't a downside. All in all, I do think that Grimoire is certainly an interesting ability, and I would love to hear your thoughts on it. What do you think Grimoire could potentially be used for? Have you made any plans for Grimoire? I've actually seen one guy show off a corpse explosion Grimoire video, basically where he leaps into the center of a bunch of cows, kills one cow, casts Grimoire, and then spams corpse explosions, and he killed cows really quickly. Really quickly. I was actually quite impressed. You know, because of course the Grimoire is increasing his corpse explosion level quite a bit. Anyway, as always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos, even when my video is very grim. And as always, keep watching.